Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel with Love Favor Adeni. My name is Favor Adeni and I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm sure most of you clicked on today's video because of the title, to learn about how I got promoted twice in 2.5 years of being a designer at Microsoft. So I am so glad you're here. If this is your first time here, thank you so much. I hope it's not your last, so I hope you subscribe to my channel to enjoy my content. And if you're returning, thank you so much for your ongoing support. I truly appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. I felt like I will start today's video with some background info about me because I know I'll have a lot of new viewers today. And also I'm going to be looking down because I actually wrote notes in my journal. This is my journal, so pretty. But anyways, I wrote notes in here because I want to be able to give you guys all the information about my whole career. To be honest, I want this video to be very helpful and valuable to those who are looking to grow in their career. So I have a whole page filled with notes, so I may be looking down a couple of times, but bear with me. So let's talk about my background, okay? So like I said, my name is Favor. I am 25 years old, originally from Nigeria. I actually was born and raised in Nigeria, and in 2019 in January I came to the US to start my undergraduate degree in college. And when I came, surprise surprise, I was undecided. I did not know what I wanted to study in college, guys, because I had graduated high school in Nigeria. We call it secondary school. So after secondary school I wanted to be an electrical engineer because I liked physics and chemistry. But after my gap year I realized I don't think I like this thing. Honestly, I don't think I want to do it when I'm in school, like in college. So I came to America. My dad just encouraged me to come with an open mind, so that semester I took 4 different classes, and one of them was web development. I didn't know what to expect from the web development class, honestly, because prior to coming to college in Nigeria I had heard about apps. I mean, I had a mobile phone, so I had apps on my phone and all of that, but I just thought that people that created just kind of products were just the 1%, like the smartest people in the world. I did not know that tech was so accessible. Like, I didn't know that, So I went into my first class. Actually, it was on my first day in college. I took web development, and my professor made us build a page that said hello world, and I built my first hello world page, and I felt so empowered because I was creating a web page from scratch. And I called my parents and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to build you guys a business, or a website for your business, because I'm going to learn how to build websites this semester. And they were so happy for me. But I just found out that was my favorite class that semester. That semester in college, my first semester. I just found out that it was my favorite class. I always looked forward to it. I looked forward to learning. I realized after class I would be by myself, and I would still be learning on my own about coding, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all of that. And then that summer I spent more time improving my skills in front-end development. So I thought I wanted to be a front-end dev, to be honest. But then my second semester I started learning more about user experience design. As I started creating more websites, I started thinking more about the design, and I went to look it up on YouTube, and I saw that there was something called UX design. And prior to this I had not really heard that term, and I looked up what UX designer does. I'm like, okay, I want to try this. I started learning different design tools. I think I started with Adobe XD, actually, yes. And I created like a case study, and then I applied for a bunch of internships that second semester of my freshman year. I applied for a bunch of internships with my portfolio that only had 1 case study or 2 case studies. I've forgotten at this point, but it was 1 or 2. And I actually got an interview at Meta, formerly called Facebook, and this was the Facebook University internship for freshman and sophomore students. So they flew me out the following year. This was now 2020 now, so now we're in 2020. They flew me out in February 2020, actually the week of Valentine's Day. I remember clearly. They flew me out to California, Menlo Park, to their headquarters. It was an all expense paid trip. Flew me out for my interview. It was like a 2-day trip, I think so. 2 days 2 nights. Yeah, 2 days 2 nights, I think. Anyway, so I went there for the interview. They gave us a tour of the headquarters. I felt like, wow, a year ago I just landed in Washington Dulles Airport, for college, and a year later I am in Silicon Valley. I felt on top of the world. And anyways, I did my interviews. A few weeks later they got back to us, and I did not get the internship. I felt very disappointed and discouraged, to be honest. But one thing that kept me going in that season was if Facebook could fly me out to their headquarters for this interview, and we just literally months of experience, imagine what next year would look like for me, right? So that summer I didn't have any internship, and this was like 2020 summer. So that was the, the whole lockdown pandemic summer. I was working on campus that summer as an RA, but I was still like, just during my free time, I would always like just improve my design skills. My design skills were much better than they were before, so I was improving my design skills. I started applying for internships again at the start of the fall semester. I got a lot of interviews, guys. I interviewed with Amazon, with Facebook again. I interviewed with GE, with Lyft, with so many companies, but guys, I kept on getting rejections. So throughout 2020, just rejections. Then come 2021 January, I had applied to MasterCard the previous year in 2020, and they got back to me in January like, oh, we want to interview you. I interviewed, best ever interview experience, okay, and they loved me, and I got my MasterCard internship. That was my first ever product design job internship experience. So that summer of 2021, I worked with MasterCard for 2.5 months, and guys, I felt so validated. I felt like, yes, I finally got in this 1 year that has opened so many doors for me, Anyways, I did that internship that summer. It was successful. I loved my team, my manager, everything went really well. After the internship, because of how well I did, they extended me a return internship offer for the following year. But I really wanted another company, so I continued interviewing, and then I got the Microsoft internship offer, and Microsoft was actually my dream company, right, to work for when I was in college. I always wanted to work for Microsoft, and I had applied so many times before, but always got rejected. I never even made it to the interview stage. So when I got the internship offer for the summer of 2022, of course I accepted it, and then I worked there for 3 months from June to August. It was a more challenging internship than my MasterCard internship. It was very ambiguous, very challenging. I worked on a very technical project that till today I'm still confused about, okay? But this was 3 summers ago, back in summer of 2022. But I was able to prove myself, show my skills, show my potential. And after my internship, they extended me a return full-time offer to start the following year after I had finished college. So I was so happy, guys. This was in August 2022 when I got my Microsoft full-time offer, and guys, that was 4 months before I graduated, because I was graduating college December of 2022. So 4 months before graduation, I had a full-time offer. I didn't have to go back to my last semester thinking of interviewing or applying. Honestly, I was Gucci, and I was happy because that season, that fall semester, I actually had pneumonia, so I was really sick. So I don't know how I would have been able to be sick and be interviewing for a job. So God just showed me so much grace and favor during that time, But anyways, I graduated December 2022 with my bachelor's degrees in my bachelor's in computer science, and then the following year in February, I started at Microsoft as a full-time product designer. And guys, I was so excited, honestly, because I'm like, wow, my first ever full-time job is at Microsoft. And Microsoft at that time in 2023 was the largest company in the world. I was yapping. I was like, I work at the largest company in the world. Anytime I talk to my parents, I'm like, tell your friends your daughter works at the largest company in the world, okay? So I was so happy, guys. Like, I literally was so happy. But anyways, that's how I got into Microsoft, from being an undergraduate college student to interning at to going through rejections, then interning at MasterCard, then interning at Microsoft, and then getting a full-time offer. And honestly, the journey has been so rewarding. So I started at Microsoft in February 2023, and then I got my first promotion 18 months later in September 2024, and now 12 months later in September 2025, I got my second promotion, which is the mid-level designer promotion that I am so happy about and so grateful for, because I have worked so hard for it. So now let's talk about all the lessons and how I truly navigated this journey, because I'm going to tell you that it wasn't an easy journey, but it was a highly rewarding journey. It has been a highly rewarding journey. So I think like something that truly worked for me, because I know some people don't start their careers with passion, and passion is a differentiator, guys. Being passionate about my job, being passionate about my projects truly helped me grow. It truly helped me grow because 9 times out of 10, I was happy to go to work. every day. I was happy to work on my projects. I was happy to collaborate with my team. And when you're passionate about something, you have the drive to want to be better. You have the drive to want to improve. So I was steadily improving in my craft, in my skill, in my job, on my projects, because I was passionate. So honestly, starting my career, my job at Microsoft with passion truly helped me grow. It truly helped me grow. And I'm just encouraging, whatever you're doing, be passionate, because it will go a long way. If you're lacking passion, pray for it. Don't feel because you don't feel passionate about your current job or current role, it means you shouldn't be doing it. Sometimes it may mean that, but sometimes it doesn't. So honestly, if you're someone that prays, I would say pray about it and just ask God to help you to grow in your passion and love for what you're doing. If you look at the best doctors, if you look at the best artists, the best athletes, they are passionate about what they're doing, and that's why they're the best. That's why they're the top 1% in their field. So if you want to be the top 1% in your field, baby girl, baby boy, you have to be passionate, okay? I don't make the rules. It's literally what it is. Another thing that really helped me get my first promotion was Diligence. Okay, guys, so I didn't even tell you guys this, but so my first promotion was, like I already said, I mentioned that it was last year, September, which was 18 months after I started. I came into Microsoft thinking that I'll be promoted within 6 months. Okay, because I felt like I'm star girl, like I'm a star girl, I'm ambitious, I'm good, It has been a humbling experience. I am still a star girl. I am still the best at what I do, okay? I'm still gonna talk my shit, but it taught me, one thing my first promotion taught me was that your career is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Your career is not a sprint, it's a marathon. If there's something you can take from today's video, take this phrase and let it live with you for the rest of your life. Your career is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So I started my job thinking, okay, in 6 months I'll get promoted. I went to my manager like, hey, I want to get promoted in 6 months. I actually had that conversation, right? And it's always very important to have the conversation about your goals in your job, in your role with your manager. It's always important to be honest and transparent about those things. And I was very transparent. I wanted to get promoted within 6 months, but I learned, at Microsoft, and I think in corporate, there are different factors that come into promotion. It's not just about you being good at your job. It's about the length in your role. So have you, for a sustained amount of time, have you consistently performed above that level that you're required for the next promotion? So 6 months is kind of it's very possible to get promoted within 6 months, to be honest, right? But the 6 months really showed that sustained impact, right? So that was something that I think I learned during my first promotion. Is I have to show my performance, that I'm ready for that next level within, for at least a sustained amount of time. Let me say for at least a year before they can see and say, hey, let's promote Fever to the next level because she's ready for it. Because this is a business. They don't want to promote you and put you in a level or in a role that you're not ready for, because it's going to affect you. It's also going to affect your manager, your team, the business, and the progress of everyone, literally. So they want to make sure that promotion is also a business decision on their part. It's a goal for you to achieve as the employee, right? But it's a business decision for the company that is promoting you, because it needs to make sense. The numbers need to align. If we're promoting someone, we need to make sure that the person is on par with the expectations we're expecting at that level they'll be getting promoted to, So, and I had to wait 18 months, and honestly sometimes I felt sad that I had to wait that long, but I am grateful to God because honestly everything worked out for my good. And within that 18 months I worked on so many projects, guys. I worked on so many projects, guys, and most of my projects were going live because I worked on the cloud commerce UX design team at Microsoft, where I focused mainly on cloud acquisition experiences. So those are our two biggest cloud products, Microsoft Azure and then Microsoft 365, and bro, that experience was life-changing. It taught me so much. Okay, I'm so grateful that was the first team I was on, the first project I worked on for 2 years plus. But anyways, I worked on so many projects on that team because you're literally designing for a global customer base, and a lot of those projects were business critical projects, very business critical projects that literally number one business top priority projects, and I was able to show my impact. I was able to show that I can work with engineers, the PMs, like different collaborators, and maintain that level of, will I say, impact, that like high level of impact. I think like last year, before my first promotion, actually, I was talking to a senior designer, because I network a lot, okay? So I was in one-on-one with a senior designer, and he told me like, oh, Favor, I've seen you in meetings, and honestly, like, you're very impressive. Like, one day I looked at your level, and I was so surprised, because I feel like you're performing way above your level, and I told your manager that she needs to promote you. And he told me that, and I was like, wow, like, okay, like, so people outside of my team, my immediate team, are noticing my impact. So that was just a nod to me that people are looking at you, people are noticing you, right? So one thing I'll tell you guys, another tip or helpful lesson to know, is that people are paying attention to you. People, even if they're not on your team, they may not be your manager, but they are paying attention to you. Like I said, whatever it's we're doing well. So that's why it's good to be passionate. Because truly, my passion shows in my meetings, my passion shows in my collaboration, my passion shows in my work ethic. It truly shows, and I think it truly sets me apart. And that's why I keep hammering upon that point, because I believe that is what truly has helped me grow immensely, right? So anyways, I worked on business critical projects, for the first 18 months, and they're like, okay, then they finally promoted me last September. And it was my first promotion, and I was very happy and proud about it. But I told myself my next promotion, which is now going to be because my first promotion was from the lower level of the junior band to the high level of the junior band. So my next promotion will not be from the higher level of the junior band to being a mid-level designer. I told myself, like, my next promotion should not take me more than 12 months. That was the goal I set for myself. And indeed, it did not take me more than 12 months. So guys, can you see the growth? So I started at Microsoft thinking, I want to get promoted within 6 months. And prior to that, I had just been an intern 2 times, right? So I started that time thinking, okay, I want to get promoted within 6 months. But it took 18 months. And then when I got the 18-month promotion, I told myself the next one would take me less than 12 months or 12 months max. And that was exactly what happened. That is growth. It shows I'm actually growing as a professional. So within the last 12 months, what did I do to get my next promotion? Now, let me tell you, I was diligent. When I got my first promotion, I did not pause and feel like, okay, I've arrived, let me rest, I maintain a good work-life balance, okay? But I continue to show impact. And because of the team I was on, the nature of my projects, my projects were always going live in market, so we're always going live for customers. So I'll get to see the data, the metrics, how I'm improving them. I got to work on projects that were announced at GitHub Universe last year, Microsoft Ignite last year. So I was working on, like I said, very important projects. But I don't think it's just about working on very important projects. It's about how you actually work on the projects. The how is very important, because your manager will talk to different people, right? Like your PMs, your engineers, people you collaborate with, your stakeholders. And if you don't have a good work ethic, people won't say good things about you, because that's just how it is, okay? So I continue to deliver at that high impact, but I continue to maintain a good work ethic with my collaborators, okay? And I continue to advocate for myself, guys. I would always tell you, advocate for yourself. You are your biggest cheerleader. Look for opportunities to show who you are, to show your potential, to show your skill, to show what you look to bring to the table. Last year, after I got my first promotion, I looked for opportunities to present my work to my org, like any kind of presentation forum. I would try to plug in my work there to show people what I'm doing. It may look like, oh, you're doing a lot, but honestly, who cares? Who cares? You have a goal you want to achieve, so you have to put in the work. I feel like people go to work, especially like Gen Zs, they go to work and they feel like, oh, they don't put in like the effort to show people their work, or they feel like, oh, I just do my work and I go home. I'm like, no, if you don't have visibility, then who's gonna know? Who's gonna promote you? So visibility is so important. And because I work fully remotely, I was doing one-on-ones with not just my manager, my skip manager, my VP, different people, my leadership chain in my org. I was plugging my work into different presentation forums for my org to make sure that people knew what I was doing. It's not enough for people to know that I work at Microsoft. My team, my org, they should know what I'm doing. They should know my work. They should know the impacts I am bringing to the company. They should know what I am bringing to the table, the skills I am contributing to the growth of the company. Those things are very important. Visibility is underrated. Honestly, so I'm going to say something that may be controversial. I think the people that are more visible in their work are the people that will get more highly rewarded than even the people that are best in their roles. Okay, so honestly, sometimes visibility can trump your skill, and that is the reality of life, honestly. Like, so honestly, like, I would just recommend, if you right now you're doing your best work but your best work is not visible, please set up one-on-ones. Not just your manager, not just your skip manager. Try to talk to their leaders, maybe VPs, presidents, whatever it is, the way it is at your company. If there are any like kind of demos, share out, try to plug in your work, try to plug in the impact of your work to show the impact of what your work is, doing to the company, its customers, whatever it is. Like, I think that's very important. So visibility, but you have to be good at the job to have visibility. Okay, so if you're gonna talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. Okay, so I just wanted to say that honestly, but honestly, like, put in your best. My diligence to my work, my craft truly set me apart because I was doing stellar work. And I'm saying it confidently here because everybody that works with me knows I was doing stellar work. I actually was doing stellar work. My work speaks for itself. The people that I worked with were amazing people to collaborate with, the engineers, the PMs, content designers. I learned so much from everyone, and just putting everything together, our work was so impactful to the company. So that's what really helped me with my next promotion that I just got, was that I didn't just settle for my first promotion. I continued showing that impact. I worked on high visibility projects that were presented at GitHub Universe, Microsoft Ignite, and it's not just about my career, because guys, I can always talk about these projects in any forum I'm in, right? So people just think about their careers through the lens of where they work, through the lens of their job and their day-to-day. You have to start thinking ahead, like long-term, 5 years from now, where do I want to be? So that when you're being assigned projects, you can tell your manager, like, hey, I want to work on this kind of projects, right? Like, you can actually see these are the skills I have. I want to grow in these other skills. So can you give me projects that match these skills? Or can you put me on very like critical projects, or maybe like very high visibility projects, because those kind of projects will help you as an early in career professional. Those are things that really helped me. That the fact that I was working on high visibility projects, it truly helped me, because the people that need to know, people that had control and influence over my career, knew what I was working on, and because it was important to the company, they knew the impact I brought, right? So it worked out for my good. So I'll just recommend that, honestly, like, do your networking, build your visibility, plug in your work, make sure the people that have influence over your career know the impact of your work. That is highly, highly, highly important. Another thing, guys, as you're growing as an early career professional, guys, please ask for feedback and take the feedback well. I'm a very emotional person. I'm an empath. That's my personality, I think. And so things get to me easily. So when I started Microsoft, guys, I used to cry, sometimes because I'm just highly emotional, to be honest. But I've learned to not take things personal. Like, when people give me feedback, if my manager gives me feedback or my stakeholders give me feedback, I try my best to, maybe angry in the moment, like, oh, what are you saying? But I'm like, okay, when I think I reflect, I'm like, okay, maybe I truly need to improve in this area. And I think it's something that, as an early career professional, you have to learn to be teachable, because that character trait you will go a long way. You will go a long way if you're teachable, if you're humble, if someone can give you feedback on maybe your work ethic or the quality of your work, and you now apply that feedback. It shows you're teachable, and it even makes them want to reward you, whether it's with a bonus or whether it's with a promotion. So honestly, being teachable will make you go a long way. To take you a long way in your career, guys. Like I said, it's not just about your job, it's about your career. Okay, so think long term, but being teachable will truly help you. So if that's something that is a weakness for you now, I would say try and improve on it, because whether you move from this company to another company, if you're not teachable, the same lessons will apply, the same consequences will apply. So honestly, being teachable, being humble, and being receptive to feedback really and truly helped me, to be honest. And I just take feedback like, okay, yeah, you need to improve on this. Okay, I'm going to improve on this. Like, honestly, it's not that deep. It's actually not that deep. Like I said, everything in corporate is a business decision, guys. I need you to know 95% of the time, it's not personal, it's business. That's just the way it is. So just take feedback as like, oh, this is what I need to do to move the business forward. And maybe because I'm moving the business forward, I will get a bonus out of it. I will get a reward out of it. I will get a promotion out of it. Like, so treat everything as a transaction, honestly. But I just feel like, as a character trait, just being a humble and teachable person will take you a long way in life. Even just, it doesn't really have to do with your career growth. Just being a humble and teachable person will take you a long way in life. Another thing that truly helped me, especially within the last 12 months, choosing my heart. I started this video telling you guys like, oh, I'm a creator, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a blogger, I'm all this, and I also have a full-time job as a designer. And if you actually go through my YouTube channel, I'm going to be honest and transparent, I'm quite inconsistent. Actually, I am inconsistent. Okay, I don't always have a new blog out, I don't always have a new YouTube video out, and it's because I prioritize, I chose my heart, I looked at my life, I took stock of my life, and I know where I want to be in the future. And I said, Favor, this is where you want to be in the future, right? These are your passions, these are your side quests, everything you're doing, but you have to choose your heart. And my heart was my career. It was choosing to pour into my career, and because I poured into my career with diligence and stewardship, I have gotten the reward that I need. That was the word right there. That was a word. But honestly, guys, choose your heart. I think a lot of young people want to be so many things: entrepreneurs, have their full-time jobs, be creators, have hobbies, and it's okay to have multiple and so many desires. I'm not asking you to tone down who you are. I'm asking you to be yourself, of course. I'm asking you to be a happy human being. But life, especially when you're early in life, in your 20s, you have to choose your heart. You have to choose what you prioritize on. I looked at my life, I'm like, if I prioritize on my job, what is the reward level I'm going to get? If I prioritize on content, what's the reward level? I have to just choose my heart. And because I truly want to be a professional designer, like I want to be a world-class designer from the beginning. Since I was an intern, my goal has been to be a world-class product designer. That has always been my goal. And I'm like, okay, this is my ultimate goal right now, to be a world-class designer. So focusing on my job, improving on my skills, my diligence and stewardship to my work is what will help me get there faster than focusing on content. It is the reality of life, guys. It is the reality of life. Sometimes you have to choose to pour into one specific area in your life in one season, and the next season pour into another area. Life is in seasons, okay? Life is in seasons, so it's so important to discern what season you're in and how you should pour into each season. And because I have such a good discernment, I just decided to say, hey, I'm choosing my heart. I'm going to pour into my career. I know what I want out of life. I know I want more money career-wise, because that's what pays the bills, helps me afford my Swarovski jewelry. So we're going to pour into my job. We're going to pour into building my career as a designer, to become a world-class designer, hopefully by the grace of God in the future. And that's exactly what I did. I focused on choosing my heart. If I was juggling, trying to be consistent on YouTube and all these things, I don't know if I would still be here saying with all this, like, I don't know if I would have gotten any promotion this time, to be honest. But sometimes some people feel like they want to just balance every single area of their lives, and sometimes because of that, the reward may take longer. So you just have to be honest with yourself and say, hey, what do I want within the next 12 months? Last September, I just knew I wanted to have this promotion, and I'm here. I'm here. Honestly, like, I'm so proud of myself because I actually did it. I told myself I'm going to post a screenshot of my Instagram story last year when I announced my promotion, and I said I'll get the next one by God's grace within 12 months, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I am proud of myself. It is truly the grace of God that has brought me so far. But honestly, my diligence and my focus, guys, when I have one goal, I will focus on it, like laser focus on it until I get what I want. And honestly, sometimes in life, I'll talk about disappointment before I end. Sometimes I'm going to be disappointed, okay? Throughout my career and my career, sometimes my first promotion, I was put up for my first promotion. After 12 months, I didn't get it. And it wasn't because of my skill or anything. I think it was a budget thing. And I think incorporates, like I said, different factors playing into promotion. It's not just about your readiness. It can be your readiness. Do we need someone at this new level? And also, like, do we have the budget for promotion? Because that's money. If you're going to get a bonus, salary increase, that's money. Like I said, everything's a business decision, right? So I think my first promotion, I didn't get it within 12 months. Maybe it was a budget reason, I believe. I'm not really sure, honestly. I don't remember. But I didn't get it, but 18 months later, there was budget, and then I got promoted. This one, 12 months, thank God there was budget, because it happened. It aligned, everything worked out for my good, so I'm happy, right? So you have to, when you're disappointed, my first promotion, I kind of was disappointed, like I didn't get it after 12 months. I was like, oh, but I was like, okay, you know what, just continue showing my skills, showing who I am. Like I said, it's not just about your job, it's not just about the promotion, and that's what I've learned now. It's not just about the promotion, it's about 5 years from now, who am I in the industry as a designer? What impacts have I made? How have I poured into other people's lives? What kind of professional am I? So it's not just about getting promoted, it's about the person you get, the person you become on the journey. Okay, so I'm going to say it's not just about the rewards you get, it's about the person you become on the journey. Another word. I've dropped so many words, like, you know. Anyways, but honestly, like, guys, so you have to learn how to deal with disappointment, and you just always see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's why it's good to have long-term goals, so that you're not always short. If you're always having short-term goals, you will chop disappointment tire. Okay, you would see. It's good to have long-term goals, because in the short term, things will not be working out. You'll be thinking like, you'll be so sad all the time and discouraged. But when you have long-term goals, you know where you're going, right? So now I want to tell you what my long-term goals are here. But I have goals. I'll just say my ultimate goal is to be a wealthy and well-known design leader. Yes, that is what I'm looking at now. So you're going to see me over the next few years doing things to make sure that I reach that level of being a wealthy and well-known design leader in the technology industry and even beyond. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me yap and talk. I hope this video was not too long. If it was too long, I hope you guys stay till the end. If you stay till the end, drop your heart in the comments. Let me know your favorite lesson from today's video. Let me know your career goals, and I actually will respond to you guys. If you guys have any other like video suggestions based on career you want me to maybe do for you guys to learn, let me know in the comments too. And I'll see you guys next time on my channel. Thanks again for watching. Okay, bye.